From playoff heartbreaks to tech pause hell, this is everything you might have missed in the last week of the VCT. In the Americas, where playoffs have kicked off, Cloud9 proved me wrong again by showing they have no idea how to win a playoff game. Couldn't even take a map off Sentinels or Evil Geniuses. There's really something wrong with this org, man. I need to pick a better team to support. Sentinel fans were eating good again though, as they beat G2 in a back and forth series to qualify for Masters Toronto. MIBR also qualified by beating 100 Thieves, then first seed Crew to advance. Talking about Crew, they came in as the 1 seed and didn't win a map either. Good on those guys for following in Cloud9's footsteps by being absolute choke artists. NRG faltered again against a 100 Thieves team that was trolling pretty hard. 100 Thieves put up a good fight against G2, but lost in heartbreaking overtime, where there was a controversial bug that happened here too that could have potentially flipped the result the other way. EG have been on a bit of a run, now 1 game away from qualification, but with G2 being the team standing in their way, it might prove tough. Talking about EG, Ye has been heating up as of recently, as he's finding more maps to play Jet on and is finding his feet again, looking like he might be finding his best form since early 2023. And with Icy playing against his former roster, this qualification match is going to be a banger. Now of course, I couldn't move on without a little game show. This one is called How Does This Clip End? I'll show you a clip and then some options for how it could end.
The fact he was able to escape unnoticed, that's put a big problem.
So what happens next? Does he get the first kill and dies to spam? Does he die to this breach? Does he get this first kill and wrap outside the smoke? Or does he get this first kill and judges the other 3? Of course, he completes this ridiculous ace clutch.
A clean kill on the first, but now he's all alone. Gets a judge off his opposition. No, this is the perfect weapon! They thought he was gonna fold, but he plays the ace!
Over in Pacific, playoffs have again produced our first 2 Toronto teams. DRX continued their Korean dominance versus T1, sending them to lowers in a match that was decided by the tightest of margins. Both teams had several match points, and it was ultimately decided by like 3 rounds. Talon shocked the world against Gen G by winning map 1, before losing the next 2 maps pretty convincingly. Gen G are looking scary. They then turned that domination into a pretty disgusting performance against Boom, who came in as the 1 seed and got sent to lowers via a 12-0 first half on map 2. This sends Gen G to Toronto with a game against the winner of the other semi-final to decide the final seeding. And about that semi-final, DRX and Marco proved to be too strong on map 1 before RRQ fought back well on map 2 with a 13-4 scoreline. And with a Lotus overtime, RRQ was feeling hopeful that they could qualify for their first international event ever.
14-12. RRQ's hunting for it. They stick the defuse all the way to the very end. RRQ with a final score of 14-12.
Jemkin was a standout, but honestly, shout out to everyone on that roster for making it possible. I love these kind of underdog stories. No one expected RRQ to do anything this season, and they've proved everyone wrong. Talon, Nongshim, DRX, T1, PaperX, and Boom. Only one of them can qualify for Toronto, but honestly, you could make a case for any of them making a run through this bracket. It's going to be a very fun week of games coming up. So many teams are going to be disappointed. It's going to feel like everyone deserves to make it, but only one of them can. Now for another game that you should be familiar with. Who on earth said this? I'll say a quote from a pro player this week, and you'll guess who said it. The quote is, "Ew, Matt, what's going on there? Look at his pinky. That's disgusting." Now was this EU, Martin, Busio, or Arsenal? Now all of these guys have a teammate named Matt, but only one of them said it. And that was EU. Now this is where I'd usually talk about China, but actually they didn't have any games this week, so I'll use this time to remind you of what's coming up. Stay tuned for Billy vs EDG to decide who goes to Masters. XLG vs Wolves will decide who plays in the grand final. And also, stay subscribed to this channel to see more videos like this one and stay up to date with everything VCT. And before we go to EMEA, I wanted to play one more game of Guess Who Is in This Clip. This is a ranked clip involving 3 pro players. There'll be a lot of people talking, but the person I'm referring to is the Killjoy at the end, who's screaming.
야 제발. 지금. 하나 둘 셋. 지금이요. 야 탭했어 탭했다고.
이 목소리는 안 들려.
Now was this Forsaken, Buzz, Marco, or Meteor? It was Meteor, and reminder that he plays Forsaken in a few days in an elimination match, so maybe some mind games going on there, I don't know. And finally, in EMEA, we didn't see a whole lot, since the playoff spots have already locked in, meant the only thing to play for was seeding. Na'Vi beat out the super team of Team Vitality to avoid the dreaded 4 seed. This means Vitality will start in the lower bracket of playoffs. Koi avoided being an 0-5 team by beating Gentlemates. Apex couldn't do the same in Group Alpha's bottom seed matches, as they lost to a Giant X that's looking much better than previously thought. BBL beat Foot for the first time in franchising history in a game that went long. 48 rounds of great Turkish Valorant meant that BBL came out on top on map 1 and closed it out on map 2. But the story of the round was the tech pauses that plagued the last day of competition. Several hours of tech pauses, one little map of Team Liquid vs KC, before more tech pauses meant that EMEA will have to return their matches some other time. They put out a statement later saying that they're upgrading their PC setups to be more in line with other league standards, and will resume in the next few days. There are also some notable player moves, as Fluorescent decided to retire for the season to go back to NA, as well as Governor also stepped back from the team due to physical and mental stresses. Best of luck to both of them. Really sad to see him go. In the next week of Valorant, we'll see most of the teams qualify for playoffs as we prepare for Masters Toronto starting June 7th. So stay tuned for updates on the rest of the qualification and the international events.